Ahoy hoy! Welcome back to my channel. I'm coming to you from my car. I just finished dropping off my kids at school and getting a few things from the store. I've been on YouTube since late 2018, September to be exact, of 2018. And I always swore that there will never be videos or anything regarding politics on my channel, in my stories, and anything else that I do, because I know it's going to cause conflict and confrontation, and I hate those things. But sometimes things need to be said. Things need to be confronted, regardless how badly you don't want to confront it. I shouldn't be making this video in 2020, but here we are. The death of George Floyd in the U.S. was fucking horrific. It was. First of all, the cops were called on him because he had a counterfeit 20, which is basically a misdemeanor. He wasn't robbing the place. He wasn't doing anything like vandalism or arson or anything like that, or trying to kill someone. It was over a fucking counterfeit $20 bill. And yeah, counterfeit money isn't good, but here's the thing. I used to work in retail a lot before I moved to Sweden. I worked at the movie theater. I worked at the University of Maryland's dining services, and I worked at Starbucks. And all the time, I was trained for certain dollar bills. I don't think we did so much with 20s, but like with anything that was larger, like 50s and 100s, yeah, we double-checked to make sure it wasn't counterfeit. I'm trying to remember if we did do $20 bills. I don't think we did, because I think we did 50s and 100s instead. But anyway, when we ever got a large bill, we always had to make sure right then and there it wasn't counterfeit. Back then, we had to mark it with a marker to see if a certain color comes up, and then we had to check the bill under the light to see if there was anything indicating that it was fake. And we did this in front of the customer's face. And, we did it to make sure that it wasn't fake. And if it was fake, we would give the dollar bill back to them. There would be no need to call the police. I'm sorry, I'm still speechless about all that. But anywho, I think there was only one time out of all the times in let me think real quick, the 6-7 years I worked in the U.S. in retail, where I actually had to give someone back their money because it was counterfeit. And I remember her being absolutely shocked it was a counterfeit. Now, some people are probably like, oh, she's probably acting and, acting like she did get it. But sometimes you do get counterfeit money even if you don't make it. But the thing is, I think as more places become, cashless, that's going to decrease. I know there's a few places here in Sweden that are already cashless. You got, let me see if I can do this so no one can see it from the road. Let's do this. It's a lot better. Like, there are places here in Sweden that are becoming, cashless. That means you can't pay in cash anymore. You have to pay by card. And it deters people from robbing the place, for one, because you don't have the money actually on you to rob with. I mean, I'm probably sure as time goes on, people are going to try to figure out how to rob something using digital stuff. But, places like Nespresso House, and there's an Asian restaurant here called Bamboo that don't accept cash anymore. So, counterfeit money is not much of a big issue for those places anymore. And I think it's the same thing in the States. I think places are increasingly becoming more into not accepting cash as payment. They want you to have a card or something. And then on the other hand, you have some places that only accept cash rather than cards. But I think calling the police on this guy over a fake $20 bill was extreme. They should have just told him the money was fake. And if he was disruptive or, was threatening to whoever was there, that'd be one thing. But what I read and what I saw was he wasn't disruptive. The only thing he did wrong was have a counterfeit 20, which is a misdemeanor. And that's not something you really need to call the police on. You just give the bill back to the customers and say it's fake. And, not accept it. And I don't know, maybe nowadays companies do look for $20 bills to see if they're counterfeit, but still, it begs, why didn't you just give the bill back to him rather than call the police? For me, that's extreme, especially someone who used to work in retail. But anyway, even if he was resisting arrest, and we don't really know the full story behind that before he was taken down on the ground. But even if he was resisting arrest, once he's in handcuffs, he's no longer a fucking threat. That's the time you get off of him. That's the time you get off his neck. You don't stand there on his neck or on his body while he's saying he can't breathe. You get the fuck off him. He is no longer a threat to you. You're now a threat to him. And as it proves, you were a threat to him. This whole thing pisses me off. It does. I mean, you have to ask yourself, what happens if a white person was on the ground instead rather than a black person? And I'm going to be clear now, I would have been equally horrified. I would have been absolutely equally horrified. I'm not angry just because a black guy died. I'm angry because a life was taken away that shouldn't have been taken away for a reason that was, in my opinion, moron to even call the police on. It was the business's failure to notice it was counterfeit in the beginning, especially if they have a protocol in place that you check $20 bills as well as any 50s and 100s, and just give him back the money and say it's fake, and not accept it. And apparently, the police officer and George Floyd know each other beforehand, I think they worked as bouncers at some place. So you have to ask yourself if this is something that was personal or... But I don't even think it was personal. Because this guy, this officer that did this, supposedly had 17 other complaints under his belt. I'm sorry, but the police across the country need to start setting boundaries. If your officer has that many complaints, they should not be a cop. Period. They should not be a cop. Did I say cup or did I say cop? I meant to say cop. Cop. Fuck. Anyway. There's something going on with police stations across the U.S. And I don't want to be one of these people that is distrustful of all cops, because I know not all cops are like this. There's always been a history of having, quote-unquote bad cops and stuff. But then you have to wonder, you had 3 officers there that could have stopped him from doing this, and they let him do it. So, basically, they're accomplices to a murder. You did not stop your partner from killing somebody that was no longer a threat to you and to them. I have no idea what's been going on with cops since at least 2014. That's what I noticed. That's when, I mean, I know black people have been facing police brutality a lot for decades, but it's really being seen, and it's usually over stuff that's so fucking petty, it's not even funny. And while I like to blame the cops that react this way, I have to blame people who make these idiotic phone calls into people, you know, saying, oh, this black person is here. This black person is here doing this. This black person here is doing that. What the fuck is going on? And I mean, as a white person, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed you have people in my race doing this shit. And, you know, people are like, oh, black people are so dangerous. Black people are, you know, uneducated and all this other bullshit. Yeah, guys, here's the fucking reality check. I was raised in a predominantly black county in Maryland. I'm from Prince George's County, Maryland. Yeah, deal with it. I've been around so many black people, and no, they're not dangerous. They're not non-educated or uneducated or the fucking dumbass shit you're coming up with. I have never had an issue with a black person. I've never been a target of a black person without them being provoked somehow. I mean, I've been mostly, any conflicts I had with a black person has been because I said something that was very fucking cheeky, and they got in my face and called me out for it. It doesn't mean that I think they're dangerous. It doesn't mean that they intentionally want to start drama. They were calling my shit out. And that's the thing you see with black people. They will call your shit out, regardless what race you are. But you know what, y'all? Racism needs to fucking stop. It does. We're in the 21st century. We're in 2020. There is no fucking reason why people should be racist against someone just because they're a different skin color than you. Here's the reality, guys. Anybody, regardless what race you are, regardless if you're white, black, Hispanic, or no, I think Latino is the better word, Asian, Pacific, does that count? I don't know. But anyway, regardless what race you are, you can be dangerous. Regardless what gender you are, you can be dangerous. Regardless what ethnic background you have, you can be dangerous. Regardless what sexual orientation you have, you can be dangerous. Anybody can be dangerous, regardless what their demographics are. That's the fucking reality of it. And this is coming from someone who's fucking paranoid. And if probably better if I say if I can hold on to my fear and not call the cops on somebody because I think they're being suspicious and dangerous despite being paranoid, I think the rest of you all can do the same fucking thing. And here's the thing. I can, in a way, understand why some people will become racist because something bad happened to them by a person of that race. But let's apply that logic to me personally. And I know I'm going to be demonetized, but you know what? I'm already not monetized, so I don't give two fucks. If I apply that logic, I would probably hate everybody right now. Absolutely everybody right now. Because I was bullied badly. I was bullied to a very dangerous point. And no, I don't want to go into how dangerous it got for me. If I based my bullies, or no, that didn't come out right. If I based everyone off just who bullied me, I would hate everybody right now. I've been bullied by black people. I've been bullied by white people. I've been bullied by Hispanics. I've been bullied by Asians. I've been bullied by every single fucking person out there. Well, no. Hold on, that came out wrong. I've been bullied by someone from every single race, is what I'm trying to get at. I've been bullied by people that have been from both genders. Actually, I've been bullied by a transgender person, too. I've been bullied by people who've been gay. I've been bullied by people who've been bisexual. Not sure about pansexual yet, but point is, anybody is capable of being an asshole, regardless of race. Anybody's capable of being dangerous, regardless of race. So rather than base everybody on one person, why don't you just base that person on that person and leave everybody who's associated with that person through race, gender, sexual orientation, and ethnic background out of that person? Because that person does not represent them, those demographics. And frankly, when I go out, and again, this sounds paranoid, but welcome to my world, I am alert, I am vigil, regardless who I'm around. Because, in my mind, everybody is capable of being dangerous. That is survival 101. And frankly, I've been burdened by people that I considered friends too. So, I mean, I wasn't hospitalized by them or they attempted to kill me, but I've been screwed over by people that I thought were friends. But if I let my issues from my past with bullying and all this other stuff get to me, I wouldn't be any better. I would just be repeating the cycle. This hate needs to stop. Police stations across the U.S. and maybe across other parts of the world need to start vetting their officers better. They shouldn't be reacting in a panic manner. Their training needs to be better in how they deal with situations. They need to be vetted more to make sure you're not hiring someone who is a secret sociopath or psychopath or someone who's sadistic. And you guys definitely need to change how you manage cops that have a lot of complaints against them. Rather than let it go to, what was it, 17? Stop at 3. And if the complaint is bad enough, suspend them. Punish them. And, people are like, oh, black lives shouldn't be the only ones that matters. It should be all lives that matters. Okay, yeah. All lives do matter. But, and I saw this yesterday. And it was the best analogy I ever fucking heard. Saying all lives matter in response to Black Lives Matter is like saying you need to spray all the houses down with water, even though only one house is on fire. Yes, your house matters too, but your house isn't on fire. Everybody's lives matter, yes, but the problem is people of color have been targeted a lot. There's some places in the U.S. that still act like we're in the Jim Crow days. And I wasn't even alive during that time, but I've studied it. You have people in the South that still act like there's a civil war going on, that feel jaded because the Confederacy lost. Well, if if the Confederacy exists still, you wouldn't technically be American. You would be a Confederate. And the thing is, most people who are alive today were not even alive when the fucking Civil War existed. So, why the fuck are you upset? I'm just done with the racism in the States. I'm fucking done with it. Actually, change that. I'm done with racism all over the world. It's fucking stupid, especially nowadays. Yes, you have bad people, but you have bad people in every single fucking group that's out there. And not everyone who is peaceful about what they believe and who they are should not be roped in with the bad apples. And if you know someone's being the bad apple, report them. And I'm not just talking about mild shit. I'm just speechless. I really am. Because what put it like this. Put yourself in the shoes of people of color. It doesn't have to be just black people. Put your shoes in people of color's shoes. How would you feel if you keep watching videos and hearing audio of police treating you or any of your family or any of your friends like that? Would you be mad? I know I would. Because I believe in the philosophy, treat how you would like to be treated. No one deserves to go through the shit that blacks have been going through for centuries in our country. No one should go through that, really. And yes, I know there have been people throughout history that have been wronged and shit. Hell, I'm a descendant of one of them. I'm Irish descent. But you know what? My ancestors were not treated as bad as blacks were. Don't get me wrong, they were treated like shit too. But not to the same extent as black people. And here's the thing. I don't condone looting and destroying property or targeting people that had nothing to do with anything. But then again, from what I've been reading and hearing, it's not people from the protests. It's people like anarchists and white supremacists that are doing all this. Don't get me wrong. There's some people from the movement that are doing it. But, you know, it's not just them. It's white supremacists and anarchists fueling the fire. I mean, anarchists will do that regardless because they don't want anything. They don't want a governing body. They're trying to dismantle the governing body because they feel like the government doesn't do shit. And while I plead the Fifth Amendment on how I really feel about the U.S. government right now, having a government around is maintaining a balance between chaos and order. Yes, I know having a certain government will cause chaos. Too much chaos. Like if there's too much lack, I mean, regardless if there's a lack of one or there's too much government involved, that will create chaos. You need a balance of both. And that's why I still support governments being in control. Over everything? Not really, but I do support governments being in power. I sure as hell don't trust regular people to be in power. That's for damn sure. But, I mean, I like the relationship they have in Sweden between the government and its people. That's good. But, yeah, I'm going off topic. But anyway, the peaceful protest is good. You know? We have that in our First Amendment in the U.S., the right to assemble. But from what I've been seeing, even peaceful protesters are being attacked, and that's fucked up. Cops who are trying to help that haven't posed a danger to anyone are also being attacked. I mean, really, just stop with all this shit. You know? Start understanding what black people, or not just black people, people of color are going through. Because I know Asians were being targeted for a while because of COVID-19. I mean, just stop with this shit. Start listening to people who feel like they're being oppressed and try to help them. You know? Police stations across the country, as I already said, need to start vetting better. They need to train better, and they need to start responding to complaints better. And if there is a limitless amount of complaints, change it to 3 at least. Unless the first complaint is someone was trying to kill someone, and then you fucking axe them from your force. I'm nervous for the U.S. right now. I won't lie. But a lot of changes need to be done. And as I said, why I don't condone rioting and damaging people's stuff? Well, when people try to protest peacefully, they don't get listened to. They get belittled. They get looked down upon. They're called crybabies. When everybody on both sides fucking protests, just stop acting like only one side does it. Seriously. It's getting old. And you have the right to assemble peacefully. If you don't like something, other than protest it, vote in November. Vote in your primaries and vote in November. Because if you don't vote, nothing will happen. That's another thing to consider. I'm voting absentee. If I can vote 3,000 miles outside the U.S., you all can do the same damn thing. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I understand the frustrations behind voting in the U.S. I really do. But I think we're at a time now where we can't really afford to sit this election out. And again, I will plead the fifth on how I really feel about all that. Because this is about racism, and this is about police brutality and protests and stuff. But here's the thing that you guys need to consider. A lot of changes in our history, not just U.S. history, everybody's history, has been through protesting or riots, unfortunately. Because, yeah, when people protest, they're not happy about something, but when they riot, well, most of the time it's not because they're really pissed off, it's because you have idiots out there who are trying to fuel fire and incite more violence and all this other stupid shit. But no, I mean, we need to change things, guys. We need to stop all this shit. Seriously. We need to stop being racist. We need to stop being bigots. We need to just fucking stop. This is getting old. And I know, this shit's been going on for centuries, but, it's time to change. We're not the same type of people we were hundreds of years ago. We're more educated. We're more knowledgeable about things that are different than us. We're more knowledgeable about cultures. We have technology that gives us real-time information about stuff. Information at our fingertips that our ancestors didn't have. Yeah, that's all I got to say. I know some people are not going to be happy with what I said, but you know what? That's how I feel about it. And I would have felt weird if I had stayed quiet about the subject. So So, yeah. If you like this video, hit like. If you subscribe, I'll be happy. I just wish things were better. Bye-bye.